Hi everyone, I'm Hawk. I have a big ass mouth, and I talk too much, and I get myself into situations like this. So here is an Aramusha guide, because I'm trying to be a man of my word. Now, I'm gonna make this really quick, very fucking simple, because it's not hard to understand. This is the basic combo. You go that way, top, that way, there. Just always make sure you go back to the fucking top. Wow, that's hard. Also, you can do it with heavies. Wow, who would have thought? There you go. That took me about fucking 30 seconds. Now let's get into the fucking fun. All block, because for some fucking reason, no one takes the time to actually explain why all block is important. So here's a little bit of info. All block has 4 different options, as you probably know. He can punch you in the face, he can do a top heavy, he can do the Twin Vipers unblockable, or he can kick. Now, a lot of fucking people have been saying a lot of wrong information about the top heavy because they're lazy and didn't do the fucking research. Mainly 2 people who actually made real guides for this shit. So, let me explain who can block the top heavy. Kensei and Valk can block the top heavy only if they attacked him with a top heavy. So, any side heavy on pretty much any character, and any top heavy on most characters, even, you can get the top heavy off of. As long as you don't delay your top heavy. If you delay it a little bit, they can get the block up in time, but if you're on point with your reaction time, the top... We literally just tested this fucker in the game, and that's what he came up with. This is my buddy Jaeger, by the way, sorry. Introductions. He's just helping me out, being the...
I'm helping out.
The dummy here for this.
I'm the guinea pig.
So... Kensei's top heavy and Valk's top heavy. If you happen to all block that, don't do the top heavy. In other situations, you actually get it for free as long as you're quick. So, good. Bad thing, all block is risky, and you should probably not use it too much in a fight, maybe once or twice, if that. Because once you start using it a lot, you're gonna get feinted into a guard break, and you can't counter it. It's risky, and every other character, except for you, can get a heavy off of a guard break, so... Anyways... Let me go over the 4 options real quick. Let's take it slow. Top heavy is honestly your best option, and I thought it was the worst. When I started testing, I thought it was the worst, and suddenly I'm like, oh, people just didn't test. So use the top heavy. My whole thing about all block that I was gonna say is completely useless now because just top heavy, unless you're fighting a Valk and a Kensei that use the top heavy against you. But there's other things you should know. The face punch is good if you want to stun. Some players cannot react to stun properly. A lot of players who still get stunning tapped and etc. They're gonna miss the guard break. Which, if you can just throw me a top heavy real quick. Okay, one more time. That guard break comes out quick, and they're still in the middle of having the white screen, so you can catch people with that, but it's kind of like, if you want guaranteed damage against a turtle, there you go. But again, parrying is still typically the better option in this instance. So that's the face punch. Good for stun. I think it's not his best option, but it's the best guaranteed, other than the top heavy, which is apparently also guaranteed. So, Twin Vipers, if you give me another top heavy. Ooh, why? Do it again. You can soft feint that for some fucking reason, and if you don't think that's strong, then you've never played Raider before. Twin Vipers is a great way to basically open up into your combos other than his zone attack, because, as some people will tell you, any unblockable is amazing for feinting. Specifically that. That is a very slow one, and people are going to try to parry it. Soft feinting that into a top light immediately opens your rest of your combos, which I'll go over in a second. So Twin Vipers is great, but if you want the guaranteed damage, go with the top heavy. Kick, if you're near a wall, go for the kick. That's the best
if your opponent's near fire.
Yeah, if they're near a ledge, if they're near fire, or they're at an angle where the range will hit them into a wall, go for the kick. That's just
that
about
thing will
positioning.
send them flying.
Yeah, or if they're low on stamina, and you can drain it, but again, I don't. Here's the thing that bothers me about our testing is only when you delayed it did it ever let it like me block other than with Kensei and Valk. I didn't even have to change the guard on Kensei and Valk. So the top heavy really is just like the best option. And I always thought it was going to be the worst when I started testing. It's just amazing how putting some fucking effort into your goddamn guide goes so long.
Can help you out.
So I'm going to go over the soft feints now because the soft feints are his best tool, period.
Ooh, the soft feints.
If you don't mind, don't like. Let me start.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Oops.
You literally went. Try to block.
Oh, these are so fast and good, I can't block them.
So, whatever reason, the way some of these other guides have been putting this out would make you think that. Don't hang on. Would make you think that doing this would actually work. Like, this is totally amazing, and like that would never work. Like, or for God's sakes, throwing out heavies like that. Like, oh, if you shoot into a heavy, like that's really good. No, it's not. You see, the soft feints are where you're going to get your damage in the long run. That's what's going to be effective over time. Oh, what did I forget? Oh, this. Your dashes are, they're not bad. The top one gives you hyper armor, which is nice. Also, you can feint it. You can feint all of them into another one, which is not useful against a faster character, and it's not even a really useful feint unless you want to. But that drains all of your stamina, and you get no damage off of it. So what's the point? Anyways, I have some numbers here about soft feints, and I'll kind of explain why they're the most important thing in his arsenal, other than maybe a well-timed all block. Soft feints are how you keep pressure on, and a lot of players who I see playing Aramusha at the moment stop attacking because a lot of characters in this game, Bennett, like for example, I main Kensei, and if I land a side light, you're not gonna see me throw out a second side light because that'd be dumb. You get your one hit and back off, and a lot of characters are like that. But Aramusha, keep going until they block you, is my best advice. His damage is low, but he can put pressure on like no other character can. And you're going to get the biggest benefit from trying to see how long you can keep your soft feint train going. So, in case you don't want to do the math, you can get about 5 soft feints before you're out of stamina. Or 6 soft feints if you don't do a top, I'm pretty sure, if that was what my math was. You could still do, like, if you did mixed in a top and whatnot, you could still do 6, but you're going to be out of stamina, that's a no-go. If you're canceling something into a guard break mid-combo, then you only get 3 soft feints. So... Oops. Please. I fucked up, but I think you get the point. It's just stay on lock just for now.
Yeah.
If you continue that combo, you'd be way too low. And the lower you get on stamina, the more likely, if you get parried, you're going to be fucked. All of this is the best I can give you, because Aramusha is a solid mid-tier character, and that's just going to be how he is. Just be grateful he's not Kensei or Highlander. Take what you get. He has good tools. He's not going to be amazing, and nothing in this guide or anything I'm about to say is going to make him a high-tier character. It's going to come down to how you play, and if you're a decent player, you can outthink your opponent. Now, here's where this... Oh, I forgot one more thing, sorry. I work full-time. I'm trying my best on this. I have somewhat of a script in front of me. So, the zone attack. You can obviously feint that into a light or a guard break and then to a light. Don't really do the guard break one, though, because you're technically wasting stamina. Try to parry it again like you just did, and I'll show you. You can only get 2 soft feints after the zone. And a top light, so... But you get 2 soft feints until you're out of stamina, which is important to know. If you did anything else after the 2 soft feints and the top light, you'd be completely done on stamina. A few other things to keep in mind is if you get blocked, guard broken. This is a full stamina bar I'm doing this math with, and the odds of you having one or it not being drained at all is very low. So these are the absolute maximum amounts, and you're probably never going to get that, but I wanted to let you know because I felt like that was somewhat important. Now here's I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty. This is a little bit, bear with me. The most important thing about Aramusha is understanding that you cannot continue to do the same thing over and over, and thankfully, he gives you so many fucking options, you don't need to. The soft feints get predictable. Fine. I understand, there's only so much you can do, but... That's why you have guard breaks, that's why you have hard feints, and that's why you can go from so many different directions. You're gonna lag out, but that's okay. Or not. Thanks,
I'm good.
You see, the difference between... the reason why I bring up hard feints, because why would you hard feint as a soft feinter? As someone who can soft feint most of their heavies. Well, once you've soft feinted enough against a certain person, they're going to be expecting it. The hard feint's going to throw a different timing at them. They also may be expecting the guard break as well if you feinted into a guard break a few times. So here's kind of my list of how fights will typically go. You start off, you're going to do your soft feint combos, your chains. See how they react, and depending on how they react to the first one, you could change up how your soft feint looks. I'm going to stand a little bit away so I don't hit you, so this works. So if you do that way, go top. See, that, although it's going to get predictable, it's still one of your best options for damage, and it's a good train to keep going until they block it. Because the more they start trying to figure out what you're doing with the soft feints, the more they're in your pocket. Because then you're playing mind games with them. Because, like, instead of feinting into the soft feint that time, you go into the guard break, and then after the guard break a couple times, that's when you start hard feinting. And the reason I say hard feinting is because the animation is going to look very similar. I'll show you what I mean. That's what it looks like when you cancel into a guard break. That's what it looks like when you cancel into that. I know people are going to be looking for the indicators, but the thing is, if you cancel into a guard break once or twice, if you get them once, do it again. They're going to counter it the second time, and they're going to expect it the third time. The third time is when you're going to get them with the hard feint light into your combos. What I'm saying is, Aramusha is 100% getting your opponent used to a certain combo that you did, and then subverting their expectations to get damage. It's very much like a Kensei on drugs. Because Kensei is very much about getting your opponent comfortable with a certain thing you're doing and then not doing it again. So you have a lot of options with the soft feint. You can go side light into the same side heavy, which would be that, and then soft feint that way. Or you can side into the other side, soft feint back to the same direction. Or if you want to switch it up even more, you do that. Because at any point, instead of actually going for the soft feint, you can just top heavy, or top light, sorry. And the top light will let you go into the heavy finisher, which lets you soft feint, which lets you continue the combo. And at any point, you can continue the soft feint train. The key to Aramusha, and the way I feel like you're going to be best served, is to learn his infinite chain, learn how many different options you have with soft feinting, canceling the guard break, hard feinting into a light or a heavy. And the best part about this, the more that they're worried about what you're going to do next, the less worried they are about actually attacking, or less worried they are about anything else. You're getting him focused on this one thing. That's what Aramusha does really well. He can pressure people a lot. And I'll answer one last question because I think I've covered basically everything. I'm gonna add a couple, as many duels as I can possibly get footage of tonight after this, so hopefully you can see kind of how he is in practice, and that's just so you have examples in front of you. Examples, those seem kind of fucking important to a guide. A few other things that I want to mention. There's a decent feint you can do into all block off of Highlander and Warden. Warden specifically, if you do a top heavy cancel into all block against a decent Warden, they're going to attempt the crushing counter, which gives you the all block guard off the crushing counter attempt if you feint the heavy. So that way to get not a guaranteed, but a safe-ish all block. The other important things about all block is you want to do them against, like, let's say, Lawbringer's charge that he does, PK side dash, Shaman side dash, and there's another character that has a heavy, I think. But basically, a heavy attack that's a dodge, you want to use all block on, because like Orochi spin, Berserker spin, all the light attack ones just fucking parry because you get a free heavy afterwards. There's no reason not to. All block's gonna get you, I mean, a top heavy against most assassins that have a dodge in them. Kensei, you might as well just parry in the first place. That's a real side dodge. In terms of matchups, Aramusha kind of favors fighting certain assassins. And some characters like fucking Valk, Warlord. There's a few problems. Is that he has all of these combos I'm mentioning right now are completely null and void to a person who's smart and doesn't get close to you. If you have to get close to an opponent, it's gonna hurt you a lot. But there's really not much you can do against that with his moveset. You just kind of have to turtle up. Because in the end, the best way to play Aramusha is just fucking turtle. Because, well, not really, but turtling is always going to help you. Playing super defensive in this game is always going to be mostly rewarding. Even if you only get a light off of it, it's still going to benefit you a lot to just play more defensive than offensive. All these fancy combos, Psalm Fates, and everything can work. Maybe not against the best of players, but it'll work. You lagged out, so I'm going to bring this to a close now. Just keep in mind that perhaps against like a Lawbringer or even like a Conk. Why did my mic stop? There we go. Okay, that was weird. Against like a Warlord or a Conqueror or someone who has a shield or typically are more defensive, on one hand, if they're a bad turtle, then you're having a field day because they're going to just sit there and try to block you and they're going to miss. If they're a good turtle, then, like, for example, Lawbringer, all they have to do is block one of your soft feints and they get a shove off of it, which is really bad. So there's certain characters in the game where this isn't going to work. But it's what he has to work with, so that's the only thing I can tell you. Here's what he has, here's what he can do. Here's what's going to be effective, but it's not going to be effective against everyone. For like Kensei versus Lawbringer is the worst in the game. Aramusha versus Lawbringer is going to be a bad fight too. They don't really have a lot of ways to properly open up. And if he blocks the first attack in the zone, he can go right into the shove before the unblockable even fucking hits you. So the zone attack with Lawbringer is, I'm pretty sure that's true. I don't know if I should say that. We should have tested that, but it seems right. I think I've seen it happen. Sorry. Anyways, I'm going to leave you guys with the duels. I'm sorry I'm rambling. I hope that at least made some semblance of sense. The most important thing to take away from all of this, like basically the TLDR of the video, don't listen to fucking people. The top heavy can land off of all block against pretty much every character in the fucking game, especially if it's a side heavy. It won't land on lights though, so don't fucking all block lights. Why are you all blocking lights anyways? Don't do that. That's dumb.
Just block them.
At that point, if you can just block the light or parry the light. The parry of the light's going to be more beneficial than the all block ever will be. Even if all block did give you the top heavy, just like learn to parry the lights. It's going to be more beneficial. The problem with the all block and blocking the heavies specifically is the heavies are the ones that can get feinted into the guard. So it becomes a mind game with your opponent. Don't overuse all block. It's useful, but combo starter, and it's decent guaranteed damage once or twice in a fight, as long as you're unpredictable with it. When you get predictable with it, you're screwed. That's the key with Aramusha. Stay unpredictable and don't stop attacking until they force you to stop. Those are the biggest 2 takeaways. I'm going to leave you guys with the duels. I know this has been 20 minutes long or so, but I feel like and a lot that could have been said, and I just felt like other guides just really gave you the bare fucking minimum. I can read the move list to you, but why am I going to tell you the move list instead of how to use the moves in the move list? You know what I mean?
You can read the move list yourself.
This is, I'm Hawk. That was Jaeger. And disgusting comments you could possibly think of, and I'll rate them depending on how good the insult is. So put some effort into it, have some fun. I don't give a shit. Don't watch the video, pause it. I don't want to view. Just leave me hateful comments. That was all.